Hey, Chopin and Cordelia. Excellent questions. Daddy Clay from Dad Labs here. Really, really smart questions. Let me see if I've got an answer for you. So, about whether kids should spend less time online. Well, in our house, we like to think about any time spent in front of a screen, whether it's television, video games, or online, as screen time. And I think you do need to set limits for screen time. Kids need to spend lots of time outside engaged in imaginative play. They need to be interacting with other children and spending times away from one of these things that I'm staring at right now and have been for most of the day. However, in my opinion, I feel like time spent online, involved in video games, any interactive activity that requires you to be creative and thinking is actually preferable to television. So I think it would be healthy if kids spent more time online and playing video games as a proportion of their total screen time. So let's say if they're currently watching 15 minutes, let's say they're currently watching of their 2 hours of screen time a day, they're watching an hour and a half of television and online and playing video games for 30 minutes. I wouldn't mind seeing that proportion flipped over. And I don't think it's unhealthy. As long as parents are paying attention, they're watching, they know what their kids are doing online, and they're paying attention to the games they're playing, I actually think it's better than watching television in terms of screen time. Now, your other question was regarding privacy and the future, and I think that's a very interesting question. I think our whole notion of privacy is changing, and I think that anytime we interact with the internet, with video, even with our telephones, we have to realize that this is very much a public discourse. And even though it may be happening in what we used to think of as a private space, whether it's our rooms or our schools, that conversation, as soon as it's engaged in social media, is a very public conversation, and you give up your right to privacy in that conversation. So I think it's important for us to bear in mind that the rules have changed, and we can negotiate our own level of privacy depending on what our level of comfort is. Again, personally, I think that privacy is way overrated, and we tend to behave a little better if we know what we're doing is not necessarily private, and we know that everything that we do is accountable. I've always told my kids they should live their lives as if everything they do is going to be shouted from a mountaintop. And I think that the internet has made us just more aware that that may be the way life is to be lived. Sorry if I'm rubbing against the grain here, but you asked for my opinion. And you guys asked really great questions. So Chopin and Cordelia, thanks a lot for asking me these really, really smart questions and making me think a little bit about it myself. Take care. Adios from Austin, Texas, here in the US of A.